that?
Well, you just can't. I never, like, once I got to the WWE, and then, you know, I kind of started to realize that we had something special
Yes.
with that character. I was never satisfied. Like,
I like it.
You know, I was like, okay, we're here.
Okay.
And we're getting a great reaction, but what's next? You know, I'm always looking down the road, like, okay, I need something. I need to bring something new to the table, but I got to be true to, you know, what my fan base and what my audience, you know, they've accepted, and this is what they want. But you also have to keep it, you know, you have to figure out ways to keep it fresh.
Yes.
You know, so you're watching what everybody else is doing, and you're trying not to fall in, because that happens so often in our business. Somebody, you know, somebody will hit something, and then like everybody's trying to do the same thing.
That's a great word. Yes.
You know, and so you know, I was fortunate in the sense that my character, you know, it wasn't that over the top, you know, high energy. My energy was high energy, but it was at a whole different.
Yes, it was.
You know,
it is.
And that's what separated me, you know. So I always had to keep an eye on, what's this guy doing? Like, you know, take, you know, Rock and Cena and Austin and you know, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. You know, those are those are the guys that are. Ric Flair. You know, you're watching all these guys and seeing what they're doing, and you're seeing what they're doing that works, and then you figure out, okay, all right, that's what they're doing. So what is the, you know, what is the antagonist, you know, to what they're doing that works for me and is true to the character and what the fans, you know.
That's so smart.
Well,
that is smart.
It's just, I mean, the business, and it is a business. I mean, and there's so many guys that are there and are hungry and are trying to climb up that ladder, you know, and so, you know, if you kind of sit back and like, yeah, check this out, you know, hey, I just sold out Madison Square Garden, you know, and you sit on that for a little bit, you know, there's somebody else that's climbing, like, okay, well, I'm gonna settle it out. I'm gonna settle it out 5 times in a row, you know what I mean? And that was great. That era. You know, I mean, everybody was clawing, everybody was fighting for the brass ring, you know, and you know, that the 2000s, my goodness, that the Attitude Era.
First.
Yep. I'm a firm believer in less is more, especially with my character. And when I talk to young guys,
I love that.
Yeah, they think, you know, so they think, okay, well, I can do, and the athletes today they're off the chart.
Yeah, they are.
They're just ridiculous how athletically talented, you know, the men and women are, for that matter. But they rely. So wrestling and sports entertainment, it's not about the moves. It really isn't.
Okay.
It's being able to evoke emotion in one facet or another. You have to either make people love you, or you have to make them hate you. Either way, and it doesn't matter really which one. You know, I mean, certain people like to be hated, and other people like to be loved. But if you can't, you know, if you can't bring that emotion out of your audience, you're not going to have them for long. And a lot of times, what happens with these young guys is they're so athletic, they're so gifted, like, well, you know, they'll do some kind of double crazy backflip off the top rope, land on somebody on the floor, and then that's what the audience takes away from it. This guy does crazy stuff. Well, you can only see that so many times before you're like, I've seen that.
Right. I
need something new. Okay, well, that's a double backflip, you know, full gainer onto somebody. Now, how do I up that? And that's the position they sometimes back themselves into. Like, they have to keep upping the ante, and when you up the ante like that, then you increase your potential for you know, injuries and you know, catastrophic injuries at that. So characters, like, you know, I keep looking back, but like, you know, guys like The Rock and Cena, Flair, all those guys like that, you know, they had the ability to either make you love them or that make you hate them. And Cena is such an anomaly because you don't know one night to the next whether they're going to go ballistically crazy for him or they're going to boo him out of the building. It is He is probably the most polarizing guy that's come along in a long time because he just, you know, his fan base it's crazy. But what happens is he sells tickets.
Yep.
He works in front of full arenas. Same thing when Rock was there. You know, but that's the key. We tell stories. We use moves, the wrestling moves, to help tell the story.
Yeah.
But it boils down to the character and the you know, being able to bring that emotion out of your crowd, out of your audience, you know, and it's all about love or hate, you know, and it's you know, there's a lot of guys that it takes a while to figure that part out.
Oh, yes.
And then by the time they do, they're so beat up and injured and hurt. Like, you know, it's like we get a lot of people from different sports, you know, that maybe we're football players or amateur wrestlers or, you know, and I think, oh, it's wrestling, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and what you end up finding out is like these guys come out and they don't look genuine. You know, they look out of place because what they're doing, they're trying to emulate or be like a wrestler they've watched on TV instead of being the wrestler that's on TV. And that's probably one.
Say that again. That's a great point. They're trying to.
Yeah. So like if somebody was, and I'll use The Rock for example. I mean, because he was really, you know, a charismatic guy.
Yeah.
So you get somebody out there like, oh, well, I mean, I've watched The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock, I'm going to do it. So, you know, he comes, if you try to be something else, then, I mean, you have to make it yours. You got to own it. You know, if I'm trying to be The Rock, people are going to see right through that.
That's right.
You know, and that's like, oh, it's so,
Yeah.
you know. But if you can be the original individual, you know, that's the key to making people, you know, believe in you, and that's what you have to do. I mean, if you're a good guy, like we'll take Stone Cold for instance.
Yes.
He was anti-establishment.
Yep.
Everybody knew it, and man, he was the, you know, he was the guy.
That's right.
You know, he was going to, you know, tell the boss what he could do with it.
Yeah.
You know, and you believed it. 'Cause
Yes.
I mean, you're like, yeah, that's, you know, and it wasn't too far a stretch from, you know, who Steve really was. Like, I work with a lot of the young talent now. And so, and another guy, Shawn Michaels, he works with a lot of young talent. And it's funny, we can tell these guys, okay, well, you know, you try this, do this, and do this. And then I can come back and say that, well, you know, do this, and do this. And now they're like, okay, wait a minute. I got one guy here that's done all this, and he's telling me one thing, and I got another guy that's saying this, you know. That's the hard part, is putting it together. Taking those pieces and figure out, okay, okay, I see what Mac's doing there. I like that. That will work. But you can't, you know, you can't just take, okay, that worked for him, it's going to work for me.
That's right.
That way. You got to figure out how to take all this information, all these different personalities, and formulate your own. And that's, you know, like I said, that's one of the trickier aspects of whether you're a success or, you know, Lesnar.
Really?
Lesnar was, especially his first time in, when he was still in his 20s, he was just a freakish athlete. He still is.
Yes.
But
when he was in his 20s.
When he was in his 20s and he first came up, I mean, you know, he was a NCAA national, he was a heavyweight champion, national champion. And, you know, he defied what your mind would tell you, because you would see him, you know, he's like 6'4", 285, 290.
Yeah.
And you think there's no way that a human being that size can move as fast, you know.
Really?
I mean, you know, his like, you know, his single leg or double leg shot would be the same as somebody that was 180 pounds. I mean, he just really, really freakish. He was one, you know, there's a guy out, Kane, my gosh, Kane is just incredibly strong. Man, there's been some Mark Henry, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mark Henry is, he's just, Mark Henry is at a